Lillian from Melbourne, welcome to the program. What's your question this evening?
Look, my husband and I had 700,000 in super, and now that we've retired, we've put it into an allocated pension, but we've lost $80,000 of that money. I'm just wondering whether the panel thinks it's better to take whatever money we can out of the allocated pension and invest it ourselves.
Yeah, we've actually had a number of questions on this from clients over the last couple of months, and we've probably seen one of the most volatile periods we've had in 25 odd years. So my quick answer to you, Lillian, will be to not do that, simply because you'd be getting out of a market that's already reasonably low. We've seen the ASX come down from 6,800 down to about 5,800 at present, and we saw it bottom out around about 5,100 and then recover within a matter of weeks 10 to 15 or even 17–18% over the last couple of weeks. So I would say the best thing to do, or the best thing to think about, is time in the market, not trying to time the market. A lot of people that did cash out back in 2001, 2002, they put their money into cash. It looked attractive at the time because it wasn't as volatile. And then they've missed out on years that have been 15 to 25% plus. So it is simply time in the market, not timing the market, that's important to you. It's a really difficult time, so I'd implore you to stay with it. One thing that you might want to talk to your financial advisor about is possibly reviewing your risk profile. If you're feeling very nervous at this time, you might be a little bit more conservative than what you felt like when markets were going up by 15 or 10% per annum. So you might want to put a little bit more into cash and fixed interest, but I'd certainly leave that growth exposure in those markets. Hopefully you're going to live until you're well into your 90s, and you want to sustain some growth in your portfolio.
Okay. Thanks very much.
Pleasure, Lillian. Thanks for calling in. It might be a good time, gentlemen, to talk a little bit about allocated pensions on the back of Lillian's call. We do have a graphic which we can bring up just to talk a little bit about the features and perhaps some of the changes. Gentlemen, if you want to take us through this graphic. First up, it must reach a condition of release. Do you just want to explain these elements?
Yeah, in order to stimulate an allocated pension or begin an allocated pension, you must reach a condition of release. Now, a condition of release means you have to be over the age of 55 and retired. So you have to officially be retired, and usually within the trustee's statements, when you set up an allocated pension, you'll sign a declaration of retirement as part of the process. Now, when you roll over from super mode into pension mode, there's no additional lump sum taxes. So there seems to be a few barbecue advice stories where people say there's an additional 10% or 15% additional tax. There's not, in fact, any other taxes. They're quite flexible. So you can take money out if you need to. If you need to make withdrawals, you can take lump sums out. It's not quite to the point where you've got an ATM card attached to your allocated pension where you can go in and grab your money anytime you like, but it's not too far from it. Certainly in a self-managed super fund, it's probably a touch more flexible, but with any trustee structure, it's highly flexible. There's a huge choice in products these days, and certainly with the proliferation of self-managed super funds, there's a lot more than just managed funds and shares that you can own within a superannuation product. So an allocated pension can in fact have shares, managed funds, cash, fixed interest. You can have artwork and antiques in there if they're being leased out. So as long as they're income-producing assets, they can be used for your retirement.
We've got apologies. We've got a second page of features, if you like, on this. Dante, do you want to weigh in too on these features? Yeah,
the great benefit with the allocated pension is that it is very tax effective. Now, number one, you've got the investment earnings within the fund are absolutely tax free, but also if you're aged between 55 and 59, the income you earn receives a 15% rebate. If you're aged 60 and over, well, it's absolutely tax free and not taxable income. Basically, if you wanted to contribute into an allocated pension, undeducted contributions, in order to increase the amount of money you have to start the allocated pension, they're tax-free. And of course, the other thing as well is that you can have it passed on to beneficiaries in the event that you do pass away, either as a continuation of that pension or the lump sum can be paid to your dependents absolutely tax-free.
So advice to people like Lillian, for example, who've got, $700,000 odd in a super fund, and they've lost $80,000 perhaps because of the volatility of the market. The advice would be just hold on, perhaps not necessarily restructure restructure your finances?
Yes, I think so, absolutely.